Ego condemns man, not the best preacher in the land. So what we was at was we was talking about that war memorial. It was lacking in the kingdom of God, and we was in Isaiah now, chapter we believe now 1 verses 21 to 23. We gonna lock you in a loop. Give me 1 second. We kind of lost our page. We had unexpectedly cut out, and that's that's something that happens when you trying to preach and teach and be a vessel for the Lord our God now and His sheep. So we gonna get there. We gonna stop, rookie. It's gonna get there. It's gonna get there. Now you play too much. Isaiah chapter 1 verses 21 to 23. Now sometimes good things can turn bad through indifference and neglect. That's what happened to the city of Jerusalem now. Once held a God's shining jewel, now, the jewel of all Jews, now, the jewels of all Jews. The holy city became a place of despair and spiritual poverty. Contrasting then and now, Isaiah wrote that Jerusalem, once faithful, has become a prostitute. Once just and righteous, the city is now filled with murderers. Jerusalem's leaders are rebels, the compassions of the thieves, and really, amongst these, Reverend Eagle condemns man had to learn that, but what transpired, what transformed the city into a despicable despots. Now, the main problem was failure to do what God had commanded them to do. They didn't want to live out their mandate. So there are many ways to disobey God, and the leaders of Jerusalem probably found multiple ways to provoke God's wrath. But in this passage now, God shows now how He chose to speak people now to speak for Him. So they didn't want to do that, so what that means is, we got a lot of sheep that's called to service. They got education, and they beautiful, they delicate, there's a whole bunch of. But we got warnings against judgment, we got warnings against false prophets, we got warnings against this, we got warnings against that. But we ain't got no gospel like Reverend Eagle condemns man that they came to town, say he accepted the free gift of salvation. And he just be edifying on his shows, and accidents be happening, and he predicting things in the landscapes, and he also singing, he also the stage tech, the prop guy, in jeopardy of losing almost everything, which he say now. The Lord our God continues to tell him, you do my work, I'm going to do your work. So we got a lot of work done yesterday. So best to believe we got the work done. We might present it later on. Just to show you how beautiful and delicate Reverend Eagle condemns man put words on paper. Now when people try to cross him, because Reverend Eagle crossed a lot of people. So one cross beat another cross. But which one gonna be the best cross? So Reverend Eagle saying, well, I tap out at the crosses. I'm going to submit to the Lord our God's cross. So let's redo this situation. And I'm stuttering to emphasize a point, but we also got a warning for Jerusalem women now that we gonna speak on, because that's prevalent, because we got a lot of women around here running so much game on these rookies that it's just like taking the kid to daycare, and then it's making them go all the way through school. And then they go to the finest colleges, and they get the finest awards, you should say, it's here for their educational level. But then that thing kick in. We call it pussy pink. Now she kick in, and she get the making the people go broke, and it's just trapping these rookies. So Reverend Eagle, let's get it in real quick. A faithless land, Isaiah 1:21 to 23. Sometimes good things turn bad through indifference and neglect. That's what happened now in the city of Jerusalem. Once hailed as God's shining jewel, the holy city became a place of despair and spiritual poverty. Contrasting then and now, Isaiah wrote Jerusalem, once faithful, has become a prostitute, perverted. Once just and righteous, the city is now filled with murderers. Jerusalem's leaders are rebels. The compassions of the thieves is tremendous. What transformed the city's rulers into despicable despots, now despicable humans. The main problem was failure to do God's will now that He commanded. There are ways to disobey God, and the leaders of Jerusalem probably found multiple ways to provoke God's wrath, his redemption. But in this passage now, God chose to speak through Isaiah about one offense in particular. One. All of them were bribes and refused to defend the orphans and the widows. All of them. Not some of them. All of them were bribes and refused to defend the orphans and the widows. In our age, the lure of money has brought down profit-hungry corporations. They greedy, and this greed has tarnished politicians who have left graft and corruption cloud their vision. The love of money is not a new problem. Executive has always found the temptation of wealth hard to resist, especially now when they get you with these numbers that you just get in your head and you be like, oh my, I'll be straight for the rest of my life. And Reverend Eagle was a victim for that for 25 years now. He suffered from that tribulation. He was the biggest drug dealer in his eyes that he knew, but now they got some new things. They got do things out there. They got mummy dust out there. They got some stuff that got these girls percolating. And a woman want to know, well, why my man cheat on me? Well, he ran into one of them demons that had that mummy dust in him, and he rocked his socks for 30 or 40, 20 hours worth of a wrestling match that you could not do. And we just gonna keep it all the way hot. You just couldn't lock him in with that honey pot. So he met somebody else, and they rocked him off his feet. And then your money started coming up short, and then he forgot to call on the phone and speak. So I Reverend Eagle Cadence, man, keeping it all the way real. Now, hot is what I got to keep it. So we got a lot of humans now engaged in the temptation of money for other things beyond sex. Now, we got people that got shopping addictions, they chocolate addictions. We got four, 5 million trillions being made on toe fetish dishes. Reverend Eagle Condensed, man, and met all kind of women that just sit back and just scam these rookies. Then met a whole bunch of millionaire women, and they poor. It was physically poor. They used that honey trap, and then they wrestled them boys down in a match they could not get out of. And then they found all the older men who had all the money, so they was marrying the older men. And then they like to hang out with a cute guy sometimes. So let's just imagine it, you 70, 80, 90, 50, 90, whatever. You know you ugly. You got a lot of money though. So what we saying is that a demon, they got a plot. They got a whole hotline. The men and women and sexual immorality is killing us. But not just sex. It's just people playing games like the Lord our God don't exist. So what Reverend Eagle saying, while Jerusalem's leaders were holding out their hands for cash, they were turning their backs on the city's most desperate women and children who held out their hands for a coin or a piece of bread. Just one piece of bread. One. And we know about the woman in the Bible that was afraid to give one of the prophets her last meal, but he showed her through her faith in God. She thought they was finna die after she broke bread with him. That's how tight these people is around here, but they got people that's really rich. So Reverend Eagle said he's been in rich people's family, he's been in poor people's family, he's been in middle people's family. He know how to communicate, situate, and dominate in his own domination, and with respecting somebody else's situation. That hey, I'm here, you there, and let's have a ball. If it's time to teach in the word, let's do that. If you want to kick it, let's do that. But we got to take care of business. So Reverend Eagle say, God said it was time for him to do a show on Veterans Day because the veterans ain't been getting they just do in the city of Janesville, state of Wisconsin, United States of America, in the county of Rock, because we got the city flag missing. Every nationality we ain't got up there. I know it's just more than one nationality that have went and served, and all the Vietnam and the Korean and all the other. What is we doing? And shout out to the Armory and those soldiers at 300. So we just trying to figure like why ain't no symbolism out here for the vets now. We got businesses, we got people with land, they doing real good. And then Mr. Splash, he got a car wash going on today. Get over there now in the city of Janesville, state of Wisconsin, United States of America now, on Western and Court Street. and Center Avenue. Mr. Slash got a location where he giving out free car washes for the vets, but people so shisty, they'll do anything for money. So they might slide up in there and say they're a vet just to get their car washed for free for a few minutes. It's just sick down here in the city. But Reverend Eagle here on the scene saying he got to teach the saints how to be safe, the sinners how to think about now rolling the dice after knowing the Lord our God has many mansions in his heaven now. So money isn't evil in itself, but combined with power, the desire for money can bring evil desires that lurk in people's hearts. And if you want to avoid the problem that plagued Jerusalem, practice a stewardship of financial resources and your authority. Don't just seek to furnish your net, but be on the lookout for others who need your help. So Reverend Eagle being saying, hey, I need a little help with this, I need a little help with that, this, that, and that. And this was one act. Now, the Lord our God wanted a faithless land to hear about Isaiah chapter 1, verses 21 and 23. He wanted them to get that. It had to happen. So it's Veterans Day. Reverend Eagle condemns man saying, well, I'm a soldier for Christ. I accept the free gift of salvation. I met some humans that I met when I was on a spiritual journey called communicating with the Lord our God with my eyes temporary closed. And he